Welcome to another session. Let's learn today how Jeremy was able to overcome his negative mindset. If you meet Jeremy today, you will find him that he's been doing extremely well at his job. He's at a very senior level, quite successful, having a large span of control over his 100-member team. He's also successful in managing the most complex and difficult client network and assignments. But this is Jeremy, which each one of us meet or have seen, while the internal state of Jeremy is hidden from everyone. If you're part of corporate, you would find that there are many such working professionals, including our own selves, where we, just like Jeremy, may appear quite successful, happy, and all good in our personal and professional life. But if you really understand Jeremy, he's someone who came to me for a coaching assignment who was not feeling good enough. And this has been happening for a long, long time. He was struggling emotionally and he didn't really knew what really was at play. Jeremy also thought that he's been masking his emotions, not just from his own self, but also, this mask of showing off and pretending to be happy, all good, all cool before everyone was not just at a professional level, but even at his personal level. There was a lot of shame that Jeremy carried over a period of time. There were many instances and experiences, but all of this was hidden behind a mask. This is how he felt, but was not right how he behaved. He has kept most of his emotions hidden deep inside him, which were now taking a toll on him because he felt he could no longer handle it. The stress of carrying a negative mindset, the constant worry, the shame, the anger, and the emotions which were out of control were now making Jeremy feel that he could no longer kind of really deal with it. So he reached out for help. In our coaching assignment that lasted for 2 months, I helped Jeremy with various techniques through which he was able to overcome his negative mindset. But friends, what's really important here that I would like to mention is a negative mindset. And this was also something that I had uh, taught Jeremy while we were doing this assignment. I'm not sharing the entire detail of a 2-month intensive work because in our discovery session, when I spoke with Jeremy, there was a lot that he revealed, which connected back to a lot in his own life. But that's not what we will understand today in the session. In fact, what I'm about to share with you are two key things. The first is, and the same thing that I explained, Jeremy, we do not develop a negative mindset just with one or two negative experiences. If you ever feel that your emotions are going out of control, and there are times where you feel you've developed a negative mindset and there's a web of stress and worry that constantly envelops you, and you feel it's really getting difficult. You feel exhausted of pretending that you're good and happy while you are not really able to regulate your emotions. There is always a lot working in your mind, and maybe perhaps for a very long, long time. A negative mindset is a result of not being really able to seek support or find the right coping mechanisms to deal with stress or any negativity in the most appropriate manner. This was the same thing that happened with Jeremy. If you remember what I just said when we started off, nobody could actually ever make out what he was going through because he was always wearing a mask of being happy, cool, and all satisfied with his work. But when we did our discovery sessions and dig deeper into the life of Jeremy and what really was at play, there was a lot that was hidden. And what was hidden had a lot of element of shame and fear in it. Now, why all of that was there? Because Jeremy just never found the right ways of dealing with these complex emotions called shame, guilt, or fear. And suppressing your emotions usually lead to a point where you can no longer take it. And exactly this was happening in his case. Back to what I taught him. As a result, when he developed a negative mindset, I explained to him how our subconscious mind works and the script he has been writing in his mind for several years together. In case of Jeremy, when we did our discovery and I gave him some very, very powerful methods to figure out, we found that the issues started from his childhood period. It was a very difficult childhood. Then the many upbringing and growing years where a lot of beliefs were indoctrinated into his head by his caregivers and also by one of his guardians who had a major influence in his life even till date. And then now at the mid-age level, all of the culmination of thoughts, beliefs, and experiences that he's been carrying over since his childhood to his mid-age eventually developed into a negative mindset. So friends, if we for a second keep Jeremy's case aside, and whoever is watching this video would like, I'm like currently addressing you. If you ever feel you have a certain thing, a mindset that's preventing you from living your life, understand it's not a making of a single day or a single event. Maybe you may not really had a difficult childhood the way Jeremy had, but it has to be a period of a very long time that you've not really adapted the right methods, which eventually is leading to a negative mindset. So, and this exactly precisely how our subconscious mind works, because this is the mind that's the most active in our brain. And the script we've been writing and storing in our since our childhood to the youth to the middle age is what really defines our mindset. This is how mindsets are developed, cultivated. So if we really need to change that, also understand it won't happen overnight in one session or in one workshop. Instead, just like Jeremy sought help for 2 months, perhaps you can indulge in the similar way because it requires effort and time to move away and break those beliefs. Now back to our case. In case of Jeremy, I gave him a very simple technique. Now this technique is something that uh, maybe you may have heard of it because this is quite common. There were several that I shared with Jeremy, which I'm not putting in here because those were very intense, in fact, and it requires a lot of time in changing a mindset. But one of the fundamental and a very simple tool, I'm not sure how many of you are aware of it, and maybe most of you are, is the use of affirmations. which I also shared with Jeremy to begin with. And I told him in our one of our first sessions that even though you may have heard of this in one of your self-development classes, oftentimes we tend to kind of overlook the simple tools, which has tremendous power. And positive affirmations is one such tool. Now, but before you exercise or practice reciting positive affirmations, what you see on your screen is just an example, some of which I shared with Jeremy. But there are certain key things that you need to understand in regards to affirmations. The first most important thing is affirmations work when we believe in it. So the element of belief is very important for any affirmation to work. This is not magic. It won't work if you simply just go memorize this and say it to yourself. It will only work when you completely believe in it. Sometimes it may also so happen that you may not say it out loud, but you actually believe in one of positive affirmation, and you will find phenomenal change in your life when you repeat those to yourself. Because these affirmations are something which we keep telling ourselves, not necessarily always in a positive tone, but most likely in a negative way. In case of Jeremy, during our discovery session, we also found most of the things that he used to tell his own self, and in that there was a lot of things which started with I. So for example, in one of a client call when he goofed up, he said, I don't know, I was such a dumb to not understand that, despite my experience. So I asked him to underline that, and I said, do you realize, Jeremy, when you use the word I, and along with that, you add a negative connotation, it gets scripted in our subconscious mind. It is that powerful. We may not really understand it, but it surfaces up in many ways and manifests both in our body and mind through various ailments we get through stress, because all this time we've been brutally cruel to ourselves and telling all sorts of negative things starting with an I. So friends, before you also use this technique, if in case you want to get over your negative mindset, this is one of the basic fundamental tools that can be put to use. But you need to remember this, that you have to first believe in it. That's first. Second, you need to also begin this with a positive statement. You can never say, I'm a jerk, and think it's going to work for you. It will manifest in the same way. So always have your positive affirmations. The way you see it on the screen, these are not casted in stone. You can create your own. But you can also use the one which are here, and make sure it starts with an I. You completely believe in it, and it has a positive statement. These are very important if you really want the positive affirmations to work for you. The next most important thing here is you can say it out loudly. Keep this, maybe just try with first three or any three you may want to pick up. Keep this pin up somewhere where you could see it on frequently or every single day. And read it out loudly to yourself 3 times in the morning and 3 times in the night. This way, you are practicing cognitive restructuring, meaning all the negative thoughts in your mindset, in your subconscious mind, that you've been telling yourself all these years. You can't pick all of it in one go. So you're slowly replacing it with a positive one, which automatically will remove the negative one. So when you speak positive affirmations to yourself every single morning, maybe 3 times, or maybe you memorize it and just say it to yourself, or you look into the mirror and say it to yourself, or you just write it down repeatedly 3 times in the morning and 3 times before you sleep. You are indulging in a cognitive rewriting of your beliefs. Make sure they are positive. Make sure you completely believe in it as you say it. Make sure you do this for the longest time. And then you will find this tool to work for you just like magic. I repeat, what we say, we need to also believe in it, because our affirmations are the new script that we are feeding into our subconscious mind, which is the most active part of our brain. And when we believe and embed the script into our mind, is when it does its wonders. So ensure that you don't forget this part of it. Well, that was about Jeremy. Just like Jeremy, if you also feel or you know of anyone where you've been hiding your emotions for a long, long time, and on account of that, today you experience a life where you find yourself a bit stuck, or seeking in clarity, or you could no longer take it. You feel stressful, exhausted. Here is the link to apply and enroll. Just like Jeremy, I look forward to meeting you and coaching you in our next coaching session. Thank you.